Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
That's a band called JoeTown right there from their release called Pills and Ammo. That's called Lonely Town Blues. And Chris, you and I were kind of dissecting that song last week on the Classic Metal Show, and here we are playing it again. Very Whitesnake, what would you say, Whitesnake influenced?
Yeah, I'd say Whitesnake-esque as far as the rhythms and stuff to it. Good stuff, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we were kind of goofing on the fact that we're going to have this artist on the show, JoeTown. I guess he goes by JoeTown as his name. Not only is it the band name, but let's welcome to the Classic Metal Show, JoeTown.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Well, JoeTown, whatever you'd like us to call you.
Joe's fine.
Yeah. Chris and I were just kind of, laughing a little bit because obviously you're kind of a newcomer on the scene. We really don't know a whole lot about you, which is why you're on the show tonight. And we just thought it was kind of funny that you go by JoeTown or have been called JoeTown or been dubbed JoeTown, but we'll just call you Joe. How about that?
That's fine with me.
So how did that name come about, Joe?
Well, basically, for a bunch of years I had a studio in the Connecticut area on the East Coast and was recording a lot of indie bands and doing a lot of stuff. And the name of the studio was called JoeTown, and I had promo material around and all that. And basically, because I was really known in the area, from playing and recording all the bands that were doing well, the studio name kind of got affixed to me, and it stuck.
Very cool.
So then when I yeah.
Go ahead.
No, so then after I was in a band called the American Trash before this, and when I kind of broke off on my own, so many people were calling me JoeTown, I decided to just roll with it for the name of the band.
Sure. Well, Joe, the new record, or the first record, Pills and Ammo, this is not the first record, right? There's actually one before this, is that correct?
Yeah, there's one before this called Rock and Roll Man, and then I put together a bunch of the EPs and little, demo type things that I had done before and put that on a CD called Archives. So really there's 3 available, but Pills and Ammo is really the first, actual full-blown release that we're promoting the hell out of and everything.
Sure. Well, dude, listening to Pills and Ammo, man, you are not only an old school rocker, but you have a lot of new school influences too. You've got blues on this thing. From listening to it from track to track, I hear everything from, like we said earlier, Whitesnake through even stuff like Kid Rock. I mean, you listen to a song like Finger, and that's directly relatable to some Kid Rock type stuff. You're kind of all over the map, man. I mean, where do you kind of get your musical guidance from? Because you really do tread a lot of different, genres with this record.
Yeah, really, the stuff that really gets me is really like the classic rock type stuff. I'm a huge Deep Purple fan, huge, Zeppelin, Stones, old Van Halen, that type of stuff, and all that. And I think a lot of times when people give me a comparison of someone like current and modern, I think it's more like we kind of share a lot of the same music that influenced us more than me kind of getting influenced by them. Yeah, I love Kid Rock and, I like Whitesnake and everything, but, I'm more of a David Coverdale fan from, Burn. So it's like most of my influences are actually like the early classic rock stuff. But production-wise, I don't want to make a record that sounds like it's from 1972. So I think that's why a lot of the stuff kind of gets a modern sound to it, and then it, sounds like sounds like other people that have the same influence as me. That's the best kind of scenario I could think of, because I don't I don't really glue myself to what's going on at the moment. I don't listen to the radio a lot. I'm really kind of listening to a lot of the same records I listened to when I was 15.
Well, Joe, Chris usually gets a lot of the music before I do, and he often previews a lot of this stuff only because he's kind of a prolific CD reviewer. And we started this interview off with Lonely Town Blues, and we discovered that in the breakdown or in the chorus of Lonely Town Blues, it's a mixture of Whitesnake's Slow and Easy and Coverdale Page Shake My Tree. Was that a conscious effort, or were you even aware of that?
I was not aware of that. You know what? I had heard a little bit of the Coverdale Page record way back, but I never got it. I do like the Cozy Powell era Whitesnake stuff, but I was comparing everything. I mean, in my brain, I was thinking more, the Zeppelin interpretations of like the Robert Johnson type songs more than Whitesnake. But it's all cool. It's all a bunch of British rockers playing the blues in the end, I guess.
Well, you do have one of the principles of Led Zeppelin there in Coverdale Page, and of course, obviously, David Coverdale, so it's likely that you would kind of put the two together and mesh the two in one of your songs.
Yeah, I love that stuff. And a big thing is with, like, that tune and other tunes I've done over the years, that tune is, like, what part of the sound is it's tuned, the guitar is tuned open G, and there's a lot of slides, so it has that type of, Delta feel to it.
Sure. Well, I dabble a little bit in guitars as well, and I like to play a gunslinger with Striggle pickups and Ostronomy pedals, and that's my guitar setup of choice. What is your setup of choice?
Setup of choice right now, live. I've been using amps from a new company called Bugera, and I tweak them a little bit and everything, but I use those live with a simple pedal board with old school pedals like Crybabies and Phase 90s and stuff like that. I use a talk box a lot live. You hear it on like Hole in My Soul on the record, and in the studio I use a bunch of different things. A lot of vintage amps. I've worked in a lot of various guitar amp shops over the years. So I've collected up a pretty good arsenal of vintage stuff, old Plexis and things like that. So it's a big mix. But in general, I like the classic old school type tube amps.
And that's one of the cool things about your record, man. No matter what style you choose to play, whether you're just flat out balls out rocking on a song like Finger, or tuning it down, slowing it down. I mean, on some of the stuff in the middle of the record. You don't down tune for the very most part, which I think is just amazing in today's world where everybody thinks that you have to, tune to D in order to get, a heavier sound. It's great sounding.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that, it's like I love the records, from all my heroes that kind of, you listen to something like Led Zeppelin 3 and it's all over the map, and I love that, but it still sounds like them throughout the whole record. I try to, in the record, I let it, the continuity of the record is more the subject matter of the lyrics and the feel of what I'm singing about. And then sonically, I just tried to have it come across with my voice and the groove of the band. But you're right, it does, it's not a homogenized record where, it's a couple of different songs and then the rest of the record repeats as such,
Sure. Now, from listening to it, it doesn't. I mean, you're talking a lot about studio stuff, and obviously you do that kind of work. But from listening to this record, this really does not sound like a Pro Tools masterpiece as much as a jump in the studio, crank it up to 11, and then maybe tweak a thing or two here and there. Is this a pretty organic record, or is there a lot of manipulating to throw it together?
No, it's a very organic record. I mean, I'm big into recording, but I'm big into having a setup and a tracking setup with the whole band playing live. and really trying to get the sound of that as close to the finished product. So when we get the take that sounds right, it's already 95% done, and we just, exactly like you said, maybe I'll double a few vocals, tweak some other things, clean up some stuff, but basically, like a song like Finger, because I have the studio, and the studio is where we jam, we went in, and that song came together and was written and recorded in about 20 minutes.
Nice. Very cool.
So, well, yeah, so if it feels right, if it feels right and it goes down and we get a good take, it's pretty much done.
Sure. Well, Joe, I mean, you're well aware of the industry, as we all are, and that it's very different than it was in the old days. And I'm curious, for an artist like yourself who clearly has a lot of different musical ideas, just to be blunt, you're not Stained, where every song sounds the same and it's, homogenized cookie-cutter bullshit. So, with that being said, is it difficult for a guy like you to get your music out there because your music doesn't follow the pattern of the minute?
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally been a big wall to get over with industry-wise, because it's hard to be somebody that is diverse these days at all, and I don't even think I'm really diverse. I'm just I just have a rock record that's moving around, and every song doesn't sound the same. So yeah, it's really tough. And as far as getting my record through and just pushing me through to try to get to the next level, it's amazing how much pushback I've gotten just because I have a record where there's some songs that are heavy and some songs it's me and an acoustic. It kind of baffles me, because still to this day you listen to the great classic records, and they're all over the map, and those are the ones that people are still listening to every day. So I really don't understand it. I think that it's good that between the internet and people doing independent stuff, that maybe the kids growing up right now maybe have a more open mindset, and it'll get better. But it's strange. I can't believe that there's a faction in the business that thinks diversity is bad. I don't get it.
Well, Joe, being that you are a diverse kind of guy, and you sound like you like to dabble a lot, have you dabbled with the tritone? And if you have, what was the result? But if you haven't, is it a superstition with you? And do you feel that's a lead to your ultimate demise?
The tritone. Yeah, I dabble. And sometimes I get a little afraid. But actually, any interval I'll explore.
So it's not a superstition with you, and you don't feel like you'll burn or eternally in hell for playing the tritone or recording it?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, we're glad to.
I'll do it and double it over and over.
Oh, okay. Well, you are a man who takes chances. All right, Joe. Well, again, being that you are new to the scene for us anyway, we wanted to get you on here and find out who you are and what you do and all that good stuff. So, is there anything you'd like to tell the fans we haven't, talked about yet? Have we not touched on something that you feel is important and you just need to get that information out there?
Well, hey, you know what? If we're coming through your keep going to the website, JoeTown.com. We're gonna be stepping up, and in the next coming weeks, getting out and playing all around the Northeast, and then up and down the Eastern Seaboard and more. So as we start getting out and tour more into the spring and summer, we're a serious band live. Like I said, in the studio, the record is pretty close to what we just deliver. So if you like the sound of the record, you'll like the band even more live. So.
Well, Joe, by chance, in your travels, have you stumbled across an actual JoeTown? And if so, were you ever compelled just to set up and play there?
No, I haven't stumbled across a JoeTown, but there is a JoeTown, Iowa that seems to battle me for spots on the first page if people are Googling JoeTown, but that's about it.
So have you been invited to actually play in the town square, or play for the mayor, or maybe give a free concert for the homeless and the needy, or anything like that?
No, but we were joking that if we are touring in that area, that we should just go in front of the town hall and shoot a video, whether they like it or not.
All right, JoeTown in JoeTown. Excellent. Sounds like a novel idea. All right, Joe, why don't you throw that website out there once again, MySpace, Facebook, anywhere else people can find you?
Yeah, it's www.joetown, JoeTown.com, and you can go there and link to the MySpace. It's MySpace/JoeTown. If you're looking for the CD, we really like CD Baby. It's CD Baby/JoeTown. So, it's we're pretty easy to find. There's a lot of content on the site, a lot of videos, a lot of things to watch and listen to. So you can really get a feel for the band by checking out the site.
Excellent, Joe. All right, Joe, well, as a tradition, we always ask our artists what we call the traditional classic metal show question, and here it is. How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
Oh, I wouldn't have a career if there wasn't a Lemmy. I mean, Lemmy. I remember the first time I heard Ace of Spades. It just made me you know what? Lemmy inspires mayhem, and I like mayhem.
Excellent. They're a pretty good band as well.
Oh yeah, I love Motorhead, and my bass player Kiefer, he's a super huge Motorhead fan. When we sometimes we cover Ace of Spades when we're out and just throwing some songs in that we just feel like doing because we're fired up. So yeah, and I love it.
Sure.
Bomber, I love it all.
Excellent. All right, the new one from JoeTown is called Pills and Ammo, and Joe, we're going to let you pick a closing song from this new CD and maybe tell us a story about it.
Okay. How about all right. How about Hole in My Soul? Hole in My Soul. The talk box on the front of the song that I go through. The lyric is, got a big black hole in my soul, and I'm a total geek outside of rock and roll, and I was listening to a bunch of Stephen Hawking on audio tape, and I heard him say black hole so many times with his voice synthesizer that it gave me the idea to use the talk box.
Excellent. All right, well, here it is. This is JoeTown from Pills and Ammo, and this is Hole in My Soul exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.
Thanks for checking out the best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.